It's ridiculous. 66% packet loss. I can't even make this up, so bad this is. 3,200. It's ridiculous. Completely, utter, unbelievable, ridiculous. 50% drop frames with only 4 Mbit. This is... I would not have imagined that in my life I experienced such shitty internet. It's unbelievable. Welcome everyone with just 2 Mbit. Let's see, hey, zero drop frames with 2 Mbit. Welcome everyone. So what is our funny little weird unsuccessful YouTube channel broadcasting today? Only a short note, because I wanted to call out here shortly. I made this Apple App Store video and I really know, I have the feeling I have the wrong profession here. This cannot continue like this. Also, I should probably switch to manual focus because apparently. And yeah, so here you see the support incident. So I think I will just do here YouTube videos or something, because as for what did I study computer science that I need to live here with such an internet and Apple. So this will be in general about support. Of course, here's some crazy examples, and I wish I would stream with more than 2 Mbit. It's ridiculous. And because this is the difference between huge mega corporations and small companies, and you should not accept this, and I need to think what I do about this. And yeah, so the internet you have seen for the recurring subscribers, our internet right now is extremely shitty. Ironically, we upgraded to 500 Mbit down and 50 Mbit up, but we get far from this. For the recurring subscribers and viewers, you might have realized from the last days, internet is utterly, crappily ridiculous. Here, I measured this a second ago. You see download is actually quite okay. Can't complain about this. Actually, I would even accept 100 Mbit, doesn't matter, but upload, for what do we pay here? 60 plus euro for 4 Mbit, by the way. Are we watching this ourselves? Which we probably should not. And but at least with 2 Mbit we have 0 drop frames. Amazing stuff. You see a 4.4 Mbit, and even this I would accept for a couple of days if it would at least be consistent and not constantly on and off again. And but more ridiculous is the support. So my grief here, and I called, when for the recurring subscribers, you can watch the video when we upgraded a month ago and we got the router, nothing really worked, and we had here downtime of over 24 hours for a business. Of course, nothing is amazing here, and I had to call 10 times, nobody could help me, everything was bullshit. And when you look then, in this day and age, this bloody Twitter support, they nearly never help you. It's just some bullshit. How can you call this support when they can barely answer anything? And of course, they have 2 channels, this main Twitter, corporate, business, where they always tell you, go to this other support channel. Okay, fine, this other support channel. And then here's some answer. And they do segmentation work. This can take some time. They can't accelerate anything. Like, what the heck? So, of course, I have some idea what segmentation work could be, whatever, ask her whatever is segmentation work. But when can we use our 550 Mbit business internet again? Because we need to do your IT, right? I mean, beside from YouTube, also send customer software updates, have a web and email server and send big emails and download something to the App Store and all this stuff. And then they reply with a link quite some hours later, but this does not even matter too much. And more to this, of course, after that they have so far not answered again. I asked them, how long should the segmentation stuff work? All right, because this is a quote, so this is so utterly ridiculous. By the way, if you read this website, then after some time they show you this bloody JavaScript pop-up. Were they able to help you? No, you were not able to help me. Thank you very much. Here's the segmentation stuff, by the way, from, so this is some generic placeholder already from 2015. We have, at the day of recording this video, we have 2019. So this is of course some generic placeholder, and they write here, they basically continuously do build up their broadband. Yeah, I mean broadband, yeah, thank you very much, with 4 Mbit. And 0 drop frames with 2 Mbit outgoing, yeah, thank you very much. Because this is a shared medium, they somewhere right there, and if some segment, probably some block of houses here, center of Berlin, apparently can't expect your working internet, and then they do here resegmentation, whatever that is exactly, they don't write here, I think. But here is a shocker, and this is ridiculous. It can take up to 9 to 12 months from planning to getting an approval to technical realization. 9 to 12 months, are you completely fucking kidding me? We pay here for the recently just a month upgraded for completely bullshit internet, and you can't even tell me here, and they write here, they can't speed it up, they can't even tell the time, they can't even tell me it is 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 5 months, 1 year, 1.5 years. For what do we even have this internet? Are you completely kidding me? And this is where I'm getting crazy and really depressed, not only with this support, but for those, I made an App Store video that might be interesting for some of you, where we don't even get, I recorded, because this was already the 5th App Store developer phone call recently. Of course, I'm not yet Louis Rossmann, I don't record here each phone call, but when this is getting too crazy, and the first phone call even today I have not recorded, only when the first phone call was, by the way, the first phone call with Apple developer support was even the English not the most amazing. At least I hope my English is more amazing than theirs anyway. And yeah, you have seen the speed here, although yeah, now even with, speaking of 0 drop frames with 2 Mbit, of course now we have 657 here, can't make this up, drop frames 657, even then here 5%, as to be expected from the shitty internet. Seriously need to consider cancelling this here, because this is completely not acceptable. And by the way, even if we could somehow live with this broken internet now, from which they can't even tell us how long this should last, which they, by the way, they should be able to tell us this will take 6 months, or this should take 8 months, or 2, or I don't know what. They should at least offer to pay here like half or something for this. Can't even get here much work done with 4 Mbit. But here is the Apple App Store license agreement stuff. Welcome to Ksutko and everyone else in the audience. And this is why we should really rethink how we work. And I mentioned already, I will probably do here some more philosophy lessons here like Louis Rossmann, talking about stuff. But I hear so much shit from friends and families. By the way, maybe I should replay some autofocus. And but this is for another live stream or something. Can we also focus more? Not that this would be that visible over 2 Mbit live stream. And so yeah, so much shit going on in the world. Also not only with fake presidents, but also the regular business things each and every day. And let's just manual focus something like that, I guess. Can we also exit this? Not that it would matter too much there in the corner, but anyway. So much shit going on, and even regular companies here, friends and family, people I know work in Berlin, really shit working conditions, sometimes even in IT companies. They're not nice to each other, stealing, even in one office, stealing the idea. Someone recently told me he proposed some idea in some meeting and the boss doesn't like it, and then 3 weeks later someone else proposes the same, and the chief there is the most amazed, and other similar stuff. But anyway, to this App Store, if you're interested in this, you can take a look on the App Store video. So summary is, right now we can't get app updates to our customer for whatever reason. Maybe we use a too old Xcode version, or it's the you know, the certificate digital signing bullshit, app notarization. Also, our app is not sandboxed. Maybe they're scanning notarization, whatever virus scanning code is just crashing there at Apple. I don't know, but what I do know is that, can we not make this larger? Anyway, a little bit shitty to scroll it like this, but whatever, this is modern web stuff that you can't make this stuff here back better. And if you, I only wanted to show you here, if you scroll here through the license agreement. So we have an issue, and by the way, we are in the App Store for 10 years. You can probably estimate we sold some hundred thousands of worth of licenses in the App Store. So with 30%, Apple got a couple of $100,000 from our App Store, which I feel like they have stolen from our revenue. I really don't like this, obviously. And then the Apple forwarders always tell me, yeah, but it's for the App Store. They do so much. They do nothing. They implemented the bloody App Store that they want to have control and stuff. And what service are they doing? They do nothing. We had an infrastructure for rolling out software, to download software updates. How I see this, Apple is stealing from the small indie developers or everyone else 30% from the profit to maximize their revenue. And this is how I see it. Leave me in the comments below how you think this looks or is or whatsoever. And totally unnecessary. We were completely happily rolling out, and we still do until up to today. We distribute our own software, works a treat amazingly. We don't have such problems like we can't get an update to the customers. And this is exactly centralization. This 3 mega corporations, Microsoft, Google, Apple, Facebook, similar stuff, you name it. And that is the result. Something doesn't work and it doesn't work. Also, like there is an outage at Amazon and then half of the internet is down, or at Google or whatsoever. And this is of course just some extreme example here. And of course we are one of those small indie developers. Certainly the App Store currently works for others. As I said, this unexpected error, whatever that is, I suspect code signing, Xcode version, maybe because we are one of the few software probably left not sandboxed. I explained this already. Our scan software creates automatically, splits documents, create file names. We can't really sandbox this easily, at least not comfortable, usable. We can't show a file save dialog for each scan and whatsoever. Maybe they are no longer prepared for apps that are not sandboxed. I have no idea. I don't get an email. I got not any notification. You can watch this other video. And then look at this. We need to get everything stuff down our throat. And by the way, how can the agreement be so long? Seriously, do you think I've read this? Of course I don't spend any second of my life reading this bullshit. I just clicked on accept. I can't. Nobody can even discuss this with Apple or with Google. And we just raise the hands. Who of you ever read some end user license agreement? Of course I reviewed this macOS only a little bit because we were working, helping other companies there with virtualization. I mentioned this already. Due to this, I read the Mac OS end user license agreement a little bit. But look at this bullshit. What should we do? What should any other developer do? You can only agree to this bullshit terms and basically give 2 cents of no fuck whatsoever about this bloody bullshit. And if you don't like such paragraphs, I'm pretty sure if I would read this, which I obviously have never done, if I don't like some sentences or paragraph, do you think I can get them changed? Of course not. And by the way, every other quarter, I get an email notification. We are about to, dear developer, thank you very much for your interest in App Store developer bullshit nonsense. Of course, this is our quarterly changes. We are going to change some sentences there. And they do not even, I think they do not even provide a nice difference like div A before and after A and B. No, you just get, I think at least could be wrong. But anyway, so yeah, this kind of, and this is of course, each of you is accepting this from your Android, from your Windows, from your Mac OS, maybe even from your Red Hat Linux, I don't know, at least probably in case you are sinister enough to run Oracle Unbreakable Linux or something. For sure they have as amazing software license agreements. And I don't find this reasonable that developers have to agree to such distribution terms that nobody wants to read, nobody will read, you can't negotiate anyway. And if this continues, why do I call this out? Of course I could just, what have I done the last 10 years? I've just accepted this, clicked off OK, and maybe got drunk after this. Anyway, why do I point this out? Because I want change. And change will not happen if we just always accept this. And I don't accept this anymore from Apple. I rather really quit the App Store now and say, you know what, I'm done with this bullshit after 10 years. There is always something breaking, not loading, they can't even... And then, what support is this? Apple fanboys trapped in their reality distortion field tell you, this is the most amazing company. Where is this here, the most amazing company? Where? If you call them, and I called them multiple times, even if you have a warranty case with here's some iPhone or MacBook, you get barely help. I said this already, I had huge discussions with this image retention thing to get this replaced in my Retina MacBook Pro. And also recently I called, probably for the nearly first time ever, Microsoft here for the Surface, because it has touch disease here, phantom touch. I made 2 videos or so about this. And by the way, now that I had this here as a joke, but I think it's probably time to end this joke here. Of course, I always irritated the Microsoft and Apple fanboys with a sticker. Did I put this here because I'm the greatest Apple fan? No, of course not. I put this here because I'm even less of a fan of Microsoft, and I couldn't see the Microsoft logo here myself, but after this support accident with Apple, it's also time to... even the sticker breaks. Can't even make this up. Anyway, actually there's not even a Microsoft logo, and this ripped in half, shared here. Anyway, and yeah, the sticker is really sticking though. At least the sticker sticks, but as we all know, Apple is very good in making adhesive, so it's no surprise that this sticks like whatsoever. I called Microsoft. It was also already, because the thing, I don't know, gets 4, maybe 5 years old even already, but I will for sure not buy any Microsoft product, because this Microsoft Surface experience was really shitty. As you know, it's unacceptable. That, oh no, the other half of the sticker somehow fell away. Anyway, certainly not buy here a new. No, I have this sticker residue shit there. I need to get some alcohol out. Anyway, and do you think Microsoft was interested in the serial defect that everyone has this touch disease here? It's basically completely unusable touch screen now. Although the calibration, I made this video, it helped a little bit, but not in the long term. It helped for a month and then it became worse again. I have the feeling something is degrading there inside. Maybe not clean manufacturing process, maybe some impurities in there with gluing there, with bonding the glass to the touch digitizer, something or whatever. And Microsoft was completely uninterested. They only, as I expected, they only said, yeah, this device is old, by the way, 4000 drop frames, even with 2 Mbit, 13%, because thank you very much, Vodafone, for this non-working DOCSIS crap, and not even be able to tell us how long this will last. And of course, the support experience at Microsoft was exactly as you expected, giving zero sense of no interest whatsoever in their defects. They only said, yes, this is out of warranty. Thank you very much. I was not even using the touch. When I first wanted to use the touch and digitizer, it was already not working anymore. Before I've used it mostly here with this display and such on Linux. So I did not even realize when this was broken, because I never used this on Linux anyway. So yeah, and how should I, the only problem is in Europe we don't have this class action suit so much, no, a little bit, but now I'm also not really that motivated to start here some European class action suit. I actually wonder that the Americans, they're usually very eager to class action sue. Can you not class action sue Microsoft over this failing touch disease, phantom touch issue here? With Apple, of course, it would have already happened here with this Surface crap, of course, in the meantime. But again, for your stuff, don't buy this. It's peak bugs as much as Apple, yeah. But if users call us here at Exacode, of course, they always expect the prompt service, the best. Often they are, of course, impressed about our service, that some developers and such can answer questions. And if you listen to this phone call, they only ask bullshit. They want, first of all, what I'm really irritated, or not irritated, what I find already very low quality of support is that when you see the first email from the 1st of May, you open here this in this management thing, which I had the, don't want to share all those private numbers there, Apple ID and whatnot again, and you can create an issue there, open an issue, and you fill out, already need to fill out the application and this internal Apple ID number of the application. And then you have seen, if you watch this other video, they ask you to provide the name of the app and the Apple ID again. When I wonder, I started this support incidents with it. It must be in your system. How can you ask for this again? This is just complete low quality of support, bullshit support that it's helping nothing, only wasting their time and my time. So you see, by the way, where all the Apple going, imagine how many thousand support people these companies, Apple, Microsoft and such, employ. And they only do bullshit. Or this Vodafone here. I called, as I said, when we received this new router, when we upgraded, I had to call the 10 times. Nobody could help me, of course. When we got this without bridge mode and the fixed IP address doesn't work, which, by the way, this bloody router, we did not even want it. The other router was also already DOCSIS 3.0 or 3.1 or whatever it was. They sent us a new router for nothing, only ruined our office day here, caused you downtime. Nobody of the support knew what I was talking about, could help. And I want to call this bullshit. This bullshit support has to end. We politicians or other people talk about everyone needs to learn to code in school. For the most part, I think this is mostly bullshit, because some people just don't have interest in this. Why should people who are very good in music or writing learn how to code? In the meantime, maybe it is actually not too bad. Everyone needs to learn a little bit mathematics there or something, chemistry and such. Maybe a little bit code can't help, because, and then the support, they continue to ask, send us a screenshot. I mean, what screenshot should I send? That a screenshot where you don't see the app listing. We send a build to Apple, it doesn't show, and they ask for a screenshot. Or in the second email, they ask there for more bullshit, like a video. And again, by the way, again, app. And there you see, they don't even spend any effort, not 1 minute, to delete from the email template what you should send. They have already, I discussed this with them on the telephone, that they have the app ID and the app name. And again, in the template, again, it is, they ask again for the name, and then even test flight, which as far as I know is only for iOS. Welcome, Piotr. Video quality dropped off to 240 by now. Yeah, this is also the video. We have here got ourselves into huge problems, you would think, in 2019 in this middle of Berlin, center of Berlin. Internet works, but now we upgraded to 500 Mbit down and 50 Mbit up, and we get here a mere 4 Mbit. We live stream with 2 Mbit, but even then we have in the meantime 5,300 drop frames. The support is disgusting. And yeah, so this live stream is only, I made this dedicated video about the App Store, and yeah, also, so basically as long as this internet is that shitty, we can probably not live stream here much, because even with 2 Mbit, 13% drop frames, this is ridiculous. And I've specifically called out the support here, which is not helpful at all, completely imprecise, can't even, so they do here some resegmentation. But also, honestly, why do they allow us to upgrade to such a high bit rate when even before it was like better, but okay, maybe now it's so saturated because everyone upgraded. And then reminds me of this article. So basically what this live stream is, to summarize this, I'm calling out bullshit support. This is Vodafone recurring. It's not the first time. The last time I don't even call them anymore, but maybe internet is, as you see, internet is so bad here now, that maybe I even call them. But now I just ramble there on Twitter. And why do we even have Twitter support when they can't help? When they only post their bullshit answers, non-helpful, yeah, we do segmentation, and then yeah, we can't make it here. At this here, we can't accelerate anything. And by the way, this actually now I called for slow internet after we upgraded to before we had 100 Mbit. I just checked earlier. I always forgot this. Before this upgrade, we had 100 Mbit down and 10 Mbit or whatever up, something like this. And we mostly upgraded for YouTube video, sending to YouTube, uploading and live streaming. And now it's a complete disaster. It worked okay for a week or two, but I called them actually for slow internet a month ago, and then they opened the case, and then eventually some technician called back, actually some real technician called back, and then he said, yeah, we are working on it. It's overloaded there in your blog. Thank you very much. And he basically said, yeah, I can't do something, working on it. And I asked him, yeah, how long can this take? Yeah, some months. He already, the technician a month ago already said months. But since then it became worse. We could live stream here for the most part for the last 4 weeks, but now since 3 days, it's a complete disaster. You have seen this in other live streams. You see this in this live stream. Even with 2 Mbit, I can even move this here over. But again, this is not, so you see here 2 Mbit outgoing. Do we even, we probably, oh, wait a second, I have this video in front of this, I guess. So, yeah, this is not my Mac Mini here, aging Core i7. You see 6% CPU, 30 frames per second rendered, outgoing 2 Mbit, because this is already what I down configured this to, and still 6000 drop frames, 14% for 2 Mbit on a, we pay for 500 down, 50 up, and we don't even get 2 Mbit reliably, which is no surprise for those who recurringly visit here. But my grief is here not only with the slow internet, my grief is with fucking support. I mean, seriously, and this is not the first time, this is also, I had here other things, the support is always ridiculous. And by the way, is this even here some, if I share here some, hopefully not too private, nah, damn it, new Twitter. Anyway, do they, here's some new notification, is this even, no, it's thank you very much. Anyway, better close this here before we stream out here too much private information. And I don't want to become a Louis Rossmann recording each phone call, but this was the second. I did not even record the first phone call, only the very end after 15 minutes. You see this, if you watch this other previous video, I only recorded the end after I was already 15 minutes on the phone. It was completely hilarious, similar to what the second phone call turned out to be. But again, this support, this is unacceptable. They can't tell you, the customers, you see here, normally this takes 9 to 12 months. Are you completely kidding me? You have customers pay for shit internet for 9 to 12 months. Do they even write here 15 somewhere, or I think somewhere it was, by the way, so this probably means, I just double read here the fine details. I mean, this is even more ridiculous. They write here, when they finally change this, usually the internet goes down at the customer for 60 minutes. This is even, okay, so probably they will not even gradually improve here something. So this will probably be 9 to 12 months as shitty as it is now. And then if they eventually plug in their new core router in some distribution hub somewhere, then this will be even no internet for 60 minutes, which is even not too bad, but hell, do this before 9 or 12 months. I mean, seriously, there is a limit of unacceptable stupidity. But again, it is of course here piling up that with the App Store that we have this problem there as well. And by the way, what the App Store problems, yes, maybe we are one of those who are using a slightly older version of Xcode. Yes, maybe we are one of the lowest apps which is not sandboxed for very good reasons, because I said this again, we can't show, when you put in 100 pages in a scanner, you have split them by barcode, you generate the 30 files, you automatically name them by barcode, and this name could theoretically generate a directory. This is just the bloody fucking reality that this is not very sandbox friendly. And because normally in this sandbox, to get out of the sandbox and write a file, you would need to query the user for each generated save file name, which is just completely unacceptable. And this is also why maybe the sandboxing thing is not the best thing for each and every productivity app. And maybe, and I don't know, any of those, and by the way, my guess is probably better than this Apple App Store support guess, which is basically no guess. So I have some suspicion where it could be. But some things I cannot just change. I can't sandbox it when sandboxing sucks for our app. And it could also just be something with a code signature, that this is some old code signature format. It could also, by the way, yes, we probably are one of very few developers who use application loader, because probably most people use the send to App Store button in Xcode, which by the way, the new Xcode is also complete clusterfuck. But we upload this in a script because we are probably one of the few developers who have a more sophisticated automatic deploy mechanism, and this is why we automatically build this theoretically on a server and then upload this with this application loader, which is still supported even in one version older than we use. We use the latest version, which, by the way, funny enough, the latest version of the application loader is also already probably 3 years old or something. I guess they phase this out sometime soon. And yeah, we're probably one of the very few who are using application loader, AO tool something, upload, blah, 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 user ID, this and that. And yes, any of those points could be a failure because probably most clicky Ubuntu users there are only pressing the upload button in Xcode, which I don't like very much because then each developer sends some random stuff and I like automated in full integration builds from a server. But maybe this is not something that Apple is used to. So yeah, welcome everyone. Just and most of just a chatbot. Yeah, so this is ridiculous, and this also, yeah, maybe AI would be even better than this support. But I only wanted to say, OH node splits what needs to amateurs, and yeah, and they also write here planning and approval. I don't know if they mean governmental approval here somewhere. And you know what? This is even for a normal end user, this is annoying, but we are a business customer. This is a business contract, not a lousy end user. We don't give 2 cents of shit at all if something fails. This is supposed for businesses. I think this is maybe we could even get a one higher business tier, which we only don't take because I don't need 1 gigabit download, because I only need upload. And the second tier already includes the fastest upload, which right now theoretically should be 50 Mbit, which, as you can see, right now they are not giving us. And yes, this is amateurish. And everyone always talks about high speed 5G and artificial intelligence, everything should be amazing, and they can't even get broadband deployed here and are such amateurs like this. And yeah, maybe I need to switch here to VHDL or something, although I avoided the German Telecom for similar support quality reasons. But apparently, actually, until a YouTube stream the last years, we have this here already for 4 years or something, it was actually quite good. I couldn't complain for 4 years, but this is now degenerated to a point where it is hilarious. And maybe I should just switch to LTE. And fiber is here very rare, and actually some fiber company called us, but the which is it even, Versatel, I think. And the problem with this is it's super expensive. They charge already, so just for installation they charge like 1,000 euro or maybe more. Actually, the first time it was more expensive. The last time they called us like just a month or 2 ago, and they said the installation is not cheaper because government subsidies or something, and it's only like 1,000 euro, but this is only to the basement. It's a bigger building here, and then I would need to get myself the internet from the basement up here and into the last floor, which is also not fun. And very theoretically, my long-term goal, although with my last App Store video already 5 people unsubscribed. Thanks for this. Did I not, by the way, told all of you should leave a comment that I at least know why you unsubscribed, but maybe this were the biggest Apple fans. And yeah, do I want to make these videos? No, I want to sit here and say everything is amazing, but this is simply not amazing. And what I also, of course here, again, all the contact detail, but you mostly have it already anyway. Also this contract, this needs to end, that end user license agreements, and this is what you get when you just accept everything. You just accept whatever the big monopolies like Microsoft and Apple stuff you down your throat. And this is what is 100 Mbit symmetric. I don't know if this fiber would be symmetric. Maybe it would be symmetric, but it is too expensive. And then, so not only is this is very good, of course. Here the results you have, it is amazing, but yeah, 1000 I don't really. So ideally, if I would stay in this office 10 years, maybe I would invest this, but actually I have larger ambitions. Although the Debian people think we are a successful one-man distribution, we have here larger goals. And when I tell you, you probably can expect from a 99 euro scan application, it's probably not a secret when I tell you Apple earned multiple 100,000. I don't really want to disclose here how much Apple earned. Don't really want to disclose our App Store revenue too detailed, but you can expect from a halfway decent serious company over 10 years that we sold there enough for Apple to earn more than 100,000 US dollar. Unfortunately, Apple did not earn $1 million with us, but some good 100,000 US dollars they earned. And for that, they can't even look up in their server what unexpected error condition occurs there. And this is ridiculous. And this is call out this bullshit support, and also so what is actually, they also give us a little bit more than advertised, but only in the downstream. So from the, or actually no, not right now, no, right now we only have here, right now, yes, 390. Actually, sometimes this will disturb the, of course, this will disturb the, so this is actually not too bad. I would not even complain. This is completely fine for me, although we have 500 Mbit. I give complete, no, don't care about this, not to swear as much as Louis Rossmann, by the way, it's probably more dropouts, I guess. My grief is here the upstream, and that they can't even tell me, hey, we have right now upstream. This is amazing for some reason, but this is seldomly. But what I also don't, you have seen the old number. The old number was before the stream. Did we get 6,700? Not sure if we, so this would even be okay. If this would be like this, this is less than advertised, but this would be okay. But this is not what we usually had the last days and nights and such, as all of you know from the downstream could be low. You seem so down lately. Think you need some vacation time or something. Yeah, so actually, as I said already, joking here, my YouTube is already the therapy, but that is, yeah, of course, downstream and upstream use the same shared CORX line here. But what I wonder is, when our uplink is so down, like 4 Mbit, why the downlink is still 400 Mbit and the upstream is so constrained, or is everyone in the neighborhood YouTube live streaming? I have no idea why mostly the upstream is affected so much. Again, this would be completely amazing, although this is less than advertised. This would be completely fine for me, but this, by the way, is more or less how it was the last weeks. This would be fine, but it isn't as this 2 Mbit live stream. Could actually click here again just for see if this is recurring. And yeah, do I want to speak so negatively? No, I don't want to speak so negatively, but when you spend the whole day only discussing stupid things with support, this is what Mbit of Ux law, the streaming is UDP, it's unaffected. What? Yeah, but so the fun thing is the streaming is UDP, but it's of course relatively fast now. This is of course, but you have seen the last failing live streams. I don't make this up. The other things I could actually just for the fun try to change the stream. See, let's change the stream back to right now. This is just 2 Mbit here, not making this up. Here is 2 Mbit, and let's change this to 8.5 Mbit and see how much. This will for sure not work more, of course, but you have seen in the beginning of the live stream it was crap, and let's see how long this lasts. But yeah, so you can spend half of the day discussing stuff with Apple, and it is also not reasonable to expect from developers to ask for first app names, app IDs, again, what you already supplied in the first time, then ask for screenshots, I mean screen sharing. This is really, and this is how companies constantly get hacked. Yeah, no, I usually don't ever do this here, also with other support nonsense, obviously. And then that they can't, beside even then they ask for build times and dates and such. I told them already multiple times before which days and how long we are waiting and so on, and they simply do nothing. How many? Of course, hey, 0 frames with 8 Mbit. Yeah, you see, so at least it's not my router. Usually they tell me it's your bloody Linux router. No, it isn't. You see, it can work. Of course, funny, maybe now I complained enough on Twitter that they finally did something, but I'm pretty sure this is only a coincidence and it will break very soon. And by the way, UDP, you say UDP. What is ironic is that before it was already not amazing the last weeks. I could, for example, the last weeks I usually did not live stream directly without a VPN. And what did you set latency to? I said in the meantime I have latency only on, not on ultra low, but only on low or something. But even that had much of an effect. I saw this even on other uploads. For example, if I upload to YouTube a pre-edited video, it was complete. It took, for example, the upload of the other video took over an hour. That should only have taken 10 minutes. And I basically worked around, it's of course ridiculous that now it works, but maybe live streaming failures help there, but I have the feeling this is just coincidence, or most of the people went to bed now. I could actually, for the very fun of it, test live streaming here at midnight. Maybe the next weekend's IT news stream, we live stream at midnight, then the net should theoretically be more empty, not as congested there or something. And then maybe set it to normal. I don't think low latency. Let's see, maybe I set it even to, what do I have here? Oh, actually I have right now, surprisingly have it on ultra low, but not really sure that made too much. I tested this and it didn't make a difference. I think doxes, yes. And but what I want to achieve here with this, but you see, even the problem is also that we built laptops for 30 years or something, and you still have like a Dell laptop where the maglev keys are not nice. I mean, the maglev keys were as is not amazing. Do I want to make videos calling out bullshit? No, of course it is nicer to sit here and say everything is amazing. But when you have a $2,000 or euro Dell XPS 15 2-in-1 with maglev keys, the latest and greatest, where is the latest and greatest innovation? And yes, I was thinking maybe we show ourselves more here in the future. If I rotate the tables here even more in the office again. And yeah, it's for sure over subscription. What irritates me when internet is quite bad here, but I mean right now we get 8 Mbits surprisingly. But with 10 Mbits I would not even complain. 10 Mbits would be fine. We pay for 50, but do we pay enormously? No. In my opinion, 65 euro is still quite okay for this. Why do I use this cable? Because for 65 euro or what this is, I get here pretty. If it would work. Initially, at least, when it was more working, in my opinion, this is pretty cheap nowadays for Germany. Would fiber be more amazing? Yes, of course it would be more amazing, but I keep complaining about Comcast, but considering that I'm getting 138 Mbit down and 40 upstream, it shouldn't complain that much. Yeah, probably not. That sounds amazing. But on the other hand, the other month I was in Nice. I was live streaming from neighbors because the Airbnb didn't have the most amazing Wi-Fi. I was asking a neighbor, totally amazing French guy there, and he gave me his Wi-Fi password. I live streamed over his cable, French cable, DOCSIS, and that was working better than what I have as business internet in Berlin. And so much to that. And with this kind of, here you see 0 drop frames, I would not complain at all, but this is, of course, you have seen it before. This other was 4 Mbit. You have seen how crappy the last streams were. The last streams were all crappy for all the recurring viewers and subscribers. By the way, thumbs up for all of you. You guys rock. And with this, even with this, I would not complain. Here 8 Mbit, no problem. 0 drop frames, that is amazing. Vodafone, I can also say that things are amazing. Yes, this is amazing. But this is of course not what we pay for, but even this I would be okay with, but it wasn't. And what I find slightly irritating is I don't know the DOCSIS standard. What is strange is that even when this sucked, the last live streams, by the way, do I still accidentally pressed here? What the last live streams that completely failed, and then I usually had still 300 Mbit downstream, which is still quite good. And the upstream was so miserable. And I really wonder how their bandwidth allocation works, that downstream is still relatively okay. I would think most people consume and watch, and the downstream should be saturated and not the upstream. But maybe they just don't have to their core router infrastructure, DOCSIS kind of whatever distribution hub things here. Maybe they simply don't have the uplink bandwidth to that. But anyway, from all the consumption, I would usually think that their downlink should be mostly saturated and congested. But yeah, it's also so. I think my brother is in Hamburg now, and I think does he has fiber now, or does he also have cable? But I think they have cable there, yes. And this is, yes, Piotr of all should probably remember how not as forward thinking the installation here, the infrastructure in Germany was. From back in the day, I guess. Of course, but this is also the problem with monopoly. This is exactly the same, coming back here full circle, and then we probably end the live stream. Also, of course, as usual, now the most people watch. Coming here full circle with the monopoly here of the German Telekom from back in the day, they invested a shit, like not at all. And even in East Germany, this was also completely ridiculous. In East Germany, after German reunification, they installed their fiber to the houses, and then they could not offer people internet because the German Telekom only had this copper DSL, digital subscriber line. And as far as I heard, all the people, or not all, but many people in huge countryside villages were connected with fiber to the home already in the 90s after German reunification, upping their infrastructure. But then they had fiber that was unusable, and only analog kind of voice over IP, old-fashioned telephone was routed there, and they couldn't get DSL there because it certainly is copper, and maybe they only could get ISDN over optical fiber or some bullshit in East Germany. It was ridiculous. And yeah, it is sad. As this is of course ridiculous, but there you see how when you told me the last live stream, why did I not prepare? The last live stream yesterday that completely failed, that I resetted the router, I had a higher throughput just like right now, and then I went for currywurst because I had not eaten something the whole, what was it, Sunday, until very late in the afternoon. I made a round here with my wife, came back after the sunshine just 1 hour later, clicked on live stream, and it was complete degenerated cluster crap here. And yeah, so much for not having run a speed test here. Just I thought resetting the router fixed some memory leak or something. Even trolled their Vodafone on Twitter, asking them, hey, can you fix your memory leak in the router that we don't need to reset it each and other weekend? But then I had to learn instantly it's not the memory leak, it is really their segmented infrastructure. Comments in the audience. Pen still only got OSL, DSL. So, and by the way, something really sucks here with the congestion, with the oversubscription, because from the other live stream when I was at my parents with the IBM R6000 the other weekend, for all of those who watch those videos, they are in the countryside, they're in a village next to Hanover, where exactly the infrastructure is even more shitty than here, and they have some DSL, old-fashioned DSL, and until recently they only got 8 Mbit down and I don't know, 768k up or some bullshit like this. Recently it was upgraded there a little bit. Now they have 16 Mbit, 16 Mbit down and 1 Mbit up or something like that. And mind you, right, West Germany, next to Hanover. and just where all the hardworking people from Hanover are living. And then actually internet felt slightly snappier there. I don't know what it is. Maybe this collision and retransmission and whatnot on shared DOCSIS cable is such just so bad that a more directly connected DSL has a more snappy internet browsing something. But tell me, and yeah, now we have 0 frames if it stays at this, but I'm pretty sure this is just coincidence. It is now 10. I should actually, yeah, it's super past 10, so probably now everyone is sleeping. And yeah, it's oversubscribed loops for sure, because this is what they write here in their segmentation stuff. Thank you very much. Probably then I should only live stream after 10:30 or something. Thank you everyone for watching. We will do more vintage tinkering, microkernel work, you name it. I somehow need to think, if this continues to be so bad, I have to cancel this contract because it's ridiculous. I hope you learned something, for example, how bad internet is in developed countries like Germany, in capital C of Europe. This is what you get. And now there is some comment that I can't scroll to, because why not? And do some KiCad stuff. Yeah, the one thing, I mentioned this with my 2 decades old deck board. Maybe it would be fun thing to lay out here some new deck here for that digital to analog converter thing. I have already 2 ICs ordered from Mauser, I think a year ago, when I repaired this, or actually got this working first. So I have some state-of-the-art Burr Brown PCM something, I think this was, duck and crystal. SMD, I already soldered them over a year ago on some prototype PCB stuff for dual inline stuff to plug this on a breadboard. And yeah, with Apple, why do I post this prominently about Apple? Not to copy Louis Rossmann, because just to show the world what crap this is. Everyone thinks this is the most amazing company, and that is the level of support you get. And why do I call this out again? To summarize this, I want that support in companies improves, and I will most likely stream or record some live lessons talking about random stuff here, experience, and we all, maybe, certainly myself also, maybe I should stop, limit live streaming here and take more care about my customers again, that they have an amazing support experience here. But with Vodafone, we live in a day and age where everything should be IT and whatever, and then you call to infrastructure broadband companies like Vodafone here, previously Cable Germany, and they can't help you shit with a new router. They sent you unnecessarily a router. As I told you, when I ordered them, I already told them. They insisted to send me a new router. I told them this is quite new. I can't believe that is necessary. Yes, it is necessary, blah, 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 whatever. And we had the shit not in bridge modus, not with a fixed IP address, barely something working here, just as I expected. And you could call 10 times, nobody can help you. At the end, you wasted half a day calling that 10 times, speaking with everyone 15 minutes, and nothing gets fixed. And by the way, an infrastructure company, how can this be? In 2019, they sent you unnecessarily a new router, and when it's not even configured like it should be configured, they can't even do something until some automated firmware update over the night. And also exactly with Apple, how can this be? They pretend to be the most amazing operating system and device, laptop and whatever, desktop and smartphone, and then you deal with support after over 1 week until I opened the initial support there. Nobody cares. They only send you email templates. Nothing happens. They even didn't have my answer from the first in the system, apparently, allegedly, whatever. However, the email from the fourth, the second email, which is also, yes, this was Friday, but usually I sometimes got answers on the weekend. So I think some support stuff in India or Ireland or Russia or wherever work even at Apple on the weekend. And anyway, we need to really up the game here in support. It cannot be that everyone, all the big companies, also car companies, I could tell you stories even from our mini service there, where they told me completely wrong stuff, where even I, as a not that much car person, knew some details already better than the BMW mini support there, which maybe they do intentionally to rip off the people, but that's also something for another story. And we need to stop with this subpar support and work methods. Like with our airport, we built here an airport that is 10 years overdue or something, at least soon. And also the kids here need to strike the school on Friday to get politicians to finally get their act together and do something with global warming and pollution and the future of our ecosystem here. And this is just the same. I mean, what is the performance of our politicians here? Not only in Germany, but also in Europe, or especially in Europe and the United States and such. Can't even point here out one very good, outstanding example for this. And yeah, there's so much we have gone. So you see, this is not only Vodafone and Apple or Microsoft peak bugs here. This is also, by the way, do I even have the camera? I probably should monitor this camera. Anyway, you see the kids in the school agree. Most things suck, and not even the politicians get their act together, and they already need to strike school on Fridays. And Piotr KiCad, yeah, by the way, I packaged KiCad already. I think I tried to use it a little bit already a year ago or something. And check the KiCad Pro now. Also, I'm adding you to my checklist to KiCad versus KiCad pronunciation. My theory is English native speakers versus other native speakers pronunciation. Yeah, this is also what my people told me. I always saw this is C-lang or clang of LLVM, the C compiler, C language front end, where I always thought non-native English, I always thought C-lang, also C-lang, C language, and some people told me clang, which I find a little bit strange, but again, I think in the chat sometimes people agreed here that C-lang sounds maybe slightly better or something, but whatever. The problem with Vodafone is because it's just packet loss due to collisions, and on the oversaturated loop for most applications, TCP tends to take care of that. UDP packets are, yeah, but it's not only this, I think, because I think probably this speed test here should be TCP IP, I guess. Probably I should TCP dump that. Let's, by the way, yeah, now the dropped 80 dropped, 100 dropped, 140 dropped frames. Let me see how the internet experience, do we even, yeah, we show this. And but the theory with this UDP is that I work around it. There you see, by the way, this was only a glitch in the matrix that we had here more. There you see, this is of course on top of our now degrading 200 drop frames, 246 drop frames. This is of course plus 6 Mbit outgoing, so 378 drop frames. The speed test is really UDP. Really, no, I need to check another day. Can I TCP dump this? Should this directly? Or anyway, don't have a. Yeah, whatever. This stream is too long. I also tried Google. Google speed test was similar. The Google Fiber speed test something. But I tried to work around this in the beginning. It worked a little bit with the OpenSSH VPN to the data center. In the beginning, it worked a little bit. I actually already live, because this was already degraded performance here. I live streamed that here the last weeks over VPN, cheap men's computer admins SSH thing to the data center. And you probably want to hide your IP on YouTube. Yeah, but whatever. I also want to hide. I want to hide everything. Yeah, the problem is you can find out our IP here for the most part anyway. Also maybe I should switch to IPv6 for the most part. And yeah, Internet Explorer, I've seen 100 fiber lines from Vodafone dropping to one something of Vodafone at all costs. Yeah, so the problem is there's only one cable thing and there is no fiber here in that building. So what I wanted to say earlier, that I would even theoretically maybe, but you see, even that if I, as I said earlier, 100,000 euro for the installation of fiber, and then for the installation of fiber here from Versatel or something, and then 1,000 euro, we would, by the way, why do we need to pay the installation of fiber? This is not, do we open here some ISP and that we need to pay their fiber, and then we move and we don't have this anymore. And this is what I have said, theoretically we have some bigger plans here. Not really sure how long I want to stay in exactly this office, especially with YouTube Studio. We are growing a little bit over the size here. And then it of course makes no sense if I theoretically plan to maybe stay here only 1 more year or maximum 2 or something. And for this, I'm not even the most motivated, obviously, to pay for this fiber. What do we have here? Some comments in the audience. Hemnet, Berlin, something. Whatever that is, does it? Neuigkeiten, home. What exactly is it? Internet for intranet for, yeah, but how much throughput is it? Get your license. Yeah, but this is probably not in the thing of Mbits, right? Yeah, so to summarize this, this is mostly call out not for this specific problem. I don't want to whine here about our specific Apple problem or internet problem. I want to spread awareness. I want that things get better. I want that you also spread your word if you have similar problems somewhere. In Spain, installation of fiber is free. And yeah, I've seen fiber in Spain, and you're sure there is no ISP who offers it. No, things are crap in Germany. Everything is overpriced and so on. Incompetent politicians, probably allegedly they get as much lobby money just like in the USA or something. It is ridiculous and depressive. Maybe I should just leave Germany like others, right, Piotr? And then, by the way, I saw in your, I should say, Peter, they said in your KaiCat talk, I think. Anyway, so I don't want to whine here. I want to spread awareness. I want to get that things get better. It cannot be, in my opinion, everything should be more connected, more AI, more future, more something, and then infrastructure companies cannot behave like this. By the way, imagine this would be water or electricity. Can you live 9 to 12 months with water, tap water only dropping, with your heating not getting warm in winter, with your electricity being off half of the day? Is this acceptable? And is it acceptable that they can't even, maybe for 6 months, I would even manage and not even complain here if at least they could tell me it takes 6 months. They can't even tell me how long this takes. And then with the App Store, they rob, all the Apple fans always tell me it's amazing, they rob us from 30%, which accumulates to hundreds of thousands of US dollars, and they give a shit for about this. They can't even answer support emails in a reasonable way, and they are not the only ones. They are just as similar as Google and Microsoft. Maybe we should just, of course there are a couple of other app stores, maybe we should just do here an app store, more apps. Maybe I should stop this unsuccessful YouTube live streaming and work more on more apps again. More amazing, I have some ideas for not like größenwahnsinnige, crazy, supersized ideas, but reasonable ideas, like a couple of handful useful apps that just work, for example, not to be more specific, and to cash in here more money, and then give a shit about this here. And yes, we still distribute the apps ourselves. Why are we even in this bloody app store? Because the users just expect this. We have some emails, we had some support who desperately, when the App Store was new, desperately wanted to buy it there. We even sometimes have support emails And we even sometimes write, when people have an answer as a pre-sales question, and we usually write, say, hey, by the way, it would be completely amazing if you buy it directly from us. Usually it's like 10% even. We don't even increase the price 30%. What we have done in the meantime, we raised the price a little bit, like 10%ish in the App Store, at least for some apps a little bit, to motivate people to buy from us. Does it work? No, they still buy in the App Store. And even if you have a pre-sales question and you point the users to, hey, by the way, if you buy at us, it would be completely amazing. Not only is it maybe 10% cheaper, but we earn 30% more not going to Apple. That really helps our small company. And even then, half of the people buy in the App Store because they just want to. They are so mind-washed from Apple. And last but not least, this is also, you are doomed from how the App Store company is run, like from Apple. They make sandboxing, they need to eat it. They want an app notarization, you need to jump over this. They tell you use the latest Xcode version, although you hate it or you can't support old customers on old macOS version, you need to eat it or die. And this is what I want to call out here to spread awareness, that people do not simply blindly accept everything. And the conclusion we have already 3 years ago, this is, in my opinion, with Apple, with keyboards here from, of course, this is not an Apple, but similar non-working keyboards from Apple and macOS. I don't even like macOS anymore. It has peak bugs. Every second thing I click that doesn't really work for 3 years or 4 or 5 years already. And this is why we ported our exact scan, for example, to Windows even. And as far as I remember, is it not approximately the way that it sounded when we met for the Rock Linux gathering? At least this is what my recollection of memory is there for that part. And yeah, this is intended as constructive criticism here, that things become better, because it certainly can't get worse, because then I really need to send myself to some professional treatment here, because this is if you need to deal with such kind of stuff each and every day. And this is also what is our summary from this? We already ported our apps to Windows and Linux. We will do more if this continues like this. Maybe, by the way, just to cash in a little bit on the App Store, because right now we sell a little bit. Also, why are the App Stores older in the App Store? Because we had already problems the last months. This is already recurring. There was an issue some months ago, and then we just gave a shit and said, okay, fine, then we only update our direct app. But in the meantime, it became really necessary again. But because we also had some App Store customers where we fixed some really important CCITT TIFF compression bug that they would really like to have fixed now. And then what is also the other conclusion? Why do I do these YouTube streams? Because I see all the big YouTubers and said, maybe this is also fun to spread our fun therapy thing here, to spread our awareness here about certain topics like failing devices and failing app stores and such. But unfortunately, you see there's also sometimes always some hair to find in the soup here. And everyone already talking about Microsoft shipping Linux kernel with Windows. Yeah, they are, of course, they are not shipping the Linux kernel. They are shipping only an ABI subsystem shim, similar to Wine, or actually, as they have some microkernel, I think in previous times, did they not even had some open, like a VMS or something, API shim? It's of course not shipping a Linux kernel as far as I know anyway. Yeah, that's really it for today. Super too long anyway. And maybe we professionalize this camera setup. Let's see, does someone even look? It's of course ridiculous that now the internet is better just when we want to end this live stream. And yeah, but seriously, I don't want to work in a world professionally where I have to deal with an app store this shitty. Then I rather do something else. And the consequence is, of course, that as many other professional apps have already left the app store, maybe we will also leave the app store. And also in general, just do other stuff like, hey, maybe a new subscriber or something here. As I said, a couple of people, oops, didn't want to play this here. Stop. Oh, it's actually my own live stream that I accidentally clicked. Anyway, I only wanted to navigate to the real-time stats there. And yeah, right now it works. With this kind of 8 Mbit, I would actually not even complain, although it is way below our 50 Mbit, but better than nothing. Yeah, it's probably now loading the beta studio. Damn it. Yeah, the beta studio also super slow, especially in Firefox, as you've seen yesterday. And of course, this tries to stuff the beta studio down our throat again. And yeah, the App Store critiques are not the most loved there. It's also still really fun to see what videos are more interesting here for the audience. Maybe I should also simply do more professionally pre-edited videos, but time will show how this goes. And aside from this, thank you so much for watching. And yeah, Windows is basically a reimplementation of VMS, writes the VSL2. Yeah, I saw this news that they call it VSL2. Not really, but how much they really changed. The Graver says Windows T4 code leaked. That's some years ago. Yes, this was really many years ago, probably already 15 years ago. To take a look, do you have an idea when you like to take a look at Haiku? Yeah, I have this downloaded here, but I will take a closer look. You see, right now I'm fighting with, actually, I should have actually not taken all this stuff. The problem with building up a YouTube channel, I use way more time than I actually should for this $3 of revenue, but not really complaining about this either, because I've actually some other really important stuff to really finish here the next days. And I have some business travel coming up also, so you will see some videos from the other end of the world sometime soon. And so Haiku probably a couple of weeks time. As I said, I probably have some VM image of QEMU testing lying around here. But yeah, as I said, this week will be super busy, not really sure how many more videos I can produce this week, especially after all this time wasted today on video recording, editing, live streaming, you name it. But stuff will come. Maybe the last days and weeks was more videos because I wanted to catch up here a little bit on terms of subscribers, which was not yet, as you see, the supermost totally successful with unsuccessful App Store critique videos. And yeah, have a good night to everyone. Piotr, by the way, I hope this is right pronunciation. I think you have not answered if this is the correct one, at least how I remember it. I don't think like Sean's all of those modern. I think you like it. What it's also modern. Yeah, the beta was the last time I tried this was probably 3 or 4 years ago. In theory, it looked, of course, the fun fact is, I said this already, I had BOS personal edition. I even purchased this for 149 Deutschmark or something really long time ago, around 2000 or 1999 or whenever that was. Of all the things, as I said, the most of the vintage retro stuff is straight from my parents' basement there next to Hanover. But from all the vintage things, as I said, the S3 Virgin, my original one, disappeared. As I said, no idea where, installed at friends, families, neighbors, I don't know where, or yeah, probably, as all the other stuff was there, probably not thrown away. And also the only other thing I can't find, there is this Naturally Speaking. I had this original when I made the video about Naturally Speaking or via voice from IBM. I had this original media there from back in that day. But the only thing, or even Quake 3, here's a Linux edition. The only thing that I don't have anymore is a BOS personal edition, something, no idea where that disappeared to, but doesn't really matter so much anyway. So I tried that even back in the day, but yeah, so I know. Okay, thanks very much. I read that you like how I pronounce it. I just didn't see an answer of if this is the right way to pronounce this from the Rock Linux meeting from a decade ago. But yeah, happy that you like it. Try to do our best also perfecting your English pronunciation of already other people. The funny thing is mostly Germans also whining on YouTube that my English is too Deutsch, English, Denglish or something, which I personally don't find my English pronunciation that bad. Only some words like, was it weird or something the other day, probably need to watch more videos again or something like that, or find more English speaking people here in Berlin or something. But yeah, thanks for that. You know, on YouTube, not only me, everyone else always complains about everything. And with that, it's time to say goodbye. I go home now and leave this half-broken internet here alone. Thanks for watching, thanks for tuning in, thanks for your comments, and yeah, nitpicky Germans, obviously, or I need to learn French and we live stream here in French, or something of that sort. With this in French, at least it's bonsoir, I think, although I can't say good night, but at least it is good evening. And tell them to learn Polish, yeah, exactly. And with this, and in Russian it's good night. In Russian is at least something like spokojnej nocy or something like that. At least I hope so, not that I said some complete bullshit. In any case, hope to see you soon. Thanks for tuning in, and stay awesome or more awesome, and try your stuff to make the world a better place. If you go to school, maybe it is an option to strike on Friday for the future. And with that, let's make some more positive videos, for example, about haiku or other amazing stuff. And also no more drop frames, no idea, but probably it's not so saturated now that everyone in Germany starts to go to bed. Maybe then I need to schedule all live streams for after 10 o'clock, and then I click on stop stream now. And in other words, by the way, I installed my terabyte SSD here in this. Now this was amazing. For something that is amazing, I made this disassembly and reinstalling video already a year ago. If you're interested in this sort of thing, and hope to see you soon then.